Hello, good afternoon, everyone. This is Baja Pips. Today is Tuesday, February 13th, 2024, 3:59 p.m. Eastern China time. And today I'm going to be day trading the Euro US dollar on the 1 minute chart. It's about 1 minute before London Open. And in just a moment, we're going to see if the volatility picks up. I just started day trading for the day, had a pretty long day, so didn't really get much pre-trade routine. I'm going to be doing it together with you all today. Show you all how I get my pre-trade checklist out the way. Having a checklist before you trade is extremely important for both swing traders and day traders. It kind of shows that you are prepared and you have everything down before your trading session so you make as little mistakes as possible. So, right now, I want to make sure that there is enough movement within the daily range for me to take a trade. Because if the market is trending under 15 pips in the past 2 hours, I stay out the market because if you could look back over at 13:30 and 14 o'clock, the price does not move much. So you can try to squint your eyes and find strategies, trade, but it's very low quality and the probability of it working out are slim compared to on the far right at 15:30 how we can see the bars are much larger, meaning that the pips are bigger in between the open and close of these bars, giving us a much better risk reward ratio. So that's why I want to make sure that there's enough movement in the market. It's no magic number. It's just I look at the average daily range, which changes every week. So I'm going to show you all a website that I use to check the average daily range in just a moment. So this right here is a little tool that I like to use. It's called MTAF, Volatility Forex Volatility Calendar or calculator. And basically it goes over the 10-week average of all currency pairs and it tells you the volatility. And I want to just get a portion out of that. So about a quarter of the average daily range, it needs to move minimum for me to trade. I got to that number through my trial and error and my experience. I day trade every day, Monday through Friday, 5 days a week. So I'm able to get that. Let's scroll down and see what the Euro US dollar has been doing on its average volatility. 63.4 pips, just about. Last week it was about 66 pips. So the volatility went down just a little bit. It kind of stays around the same number each week, but it does fluctuate depending on the economic conditions. So it could be 61 1 week, 66. It's still about quarter of it would still be about 15 pips. So what that's going to tell me now is I'm going to go back to my charts and I will sit on my hands. I'll stay on the sidelines until minimum 15 pips in the past couple hours is achieved. So I'm back on the charts. I'm going to use my measurement tool. I like to use shortcuts on TradingView. If you click and hold the shift button and press your mouse cursor and drag it, then you'll be able to measure the size of the bars in the market. And for me, I don't know the laptop I'm using. I have all of my work and data on this one, which is why I like to use this computer. It's a Dell. I prefer it over MacBooks, but for trading at least. Um, the microphone is kind of installed in the mouse pad, and the trackpad is messed up. It's a little fuzzy. If you check my previous video, I have times where my voice cut out. I just started noticing that issue and I will fix it. I have a microphone, an external device, but I haven't hooked it up because I haven't gotten to find the cord where I'm at in China right now. So apologies for the microphone issue. I will work around that soon. In this video, though, I'm going to just pause when I'm speaking between speaking and dragging the mouse so there's no scratch noise. So let's go and check this out. So we have about 12 and a half pips in the past hour, which is good for the hourly range. But let's look at the 2 hours, which is 121-minute bars. The 2 hours is also around 12 pips. So that means that within this range, I need price to move a significant amount before I start trading. Also, I want to look at the context. I can see that it was low movement, it was rangy, and less whipsaws, but definitely I would say less choppiness than yesterday. I can read and tell when the market is choppy and when it is moving clear. It's been doing much more clear movements, so I won't add that in my notes. I would just say that it's low movement and whipsaws, not apologies, low movement and rangy. I'm gonna mark that down as well. Okay, and that's all I gotta do. So all I'm going to do now is sit on the side and just wait for price to move above 15 pips in the past couple of hours. If not, I can't do anything, unfortunately, as per my guidelines. I follow my rules, I create them in my off time. So when I have non live trading and I have time to develop my system, I create these rules to keep me safe, to prevent me from making any bad decisions while trading. These rules are there because they are back tested, they are further refined every single day, and they are carefully processed. So I don't have any really don't have any rules that I don't know of. I know this second nature. So if along my trading you see notes being jotted down along this session saying no TC because wave sizes are too small, preceding wave size is too small, or trigger is too big, stop loss is too large. What else? What's another guideline? I don't take trades that are right on the cusp of edges or daily highs and lows. These are all back tested, forward tested guidelines that actually do more good than harm. And that's why I have it down. These are my rules though. Your rules may be different in your system, which is why you have to study and practice your own trading. It's that I highly recommend trade your own strategies. If you're learning someone else's strategy, learn the core of that strategy and then practice using that strategy in various market conditions. There's three main market conditions I know of. There's ranging conditions, like I just explained. There's trending conditions, which you'll see on some of my charts and videos, and then there's choppy. So that means that it's not ranging. It could be ranging, but there's basically markets going nowhere. So even a range will have little mini breakouts, and you're able to tell the narrative a lot easier. When it's chopping around, though, it's very hard to even take a trade. This day, it's less choppy and it's more or less just rangy, low movement. We had a run up to the daily highs and it failed, and then we also had a run down to the daily lows after 1530, and price also failed. So we're in no man's land. We're in the middle of a larger price range, and price is just moving around trying to make up its mind. We do have USA CPI news announcement, which is a high impact event happening later on around 21:30, which is about 8:30 a.m. New York time. So we may not get that many opportunity until then, but this is the Euro USD. So one thing I love about scalping currency pairs is that if there is a high impact event suspected for a certain currency pair, you could still trade the cross pair of that. So if there's Euro news like Euro CPI, I may not trade the Euro session until after the announcement, but US session is still tradable. If there's US CPI or non-farm, I may not trade US dollar during New York session until after the announcement. But during the European session, I could still trade. If there's a bank holiday in one of these pairs, I may not trade the session during the bank holiday of that pair, but I always have two sessions I trade. So I can opt to trade the other session if I have good enough movement. So that's just a little tip. The video may be about half-hour long. It's going to be one of those longer ones because I do have a lot to cover, but I will try pausing it in between segments. So right now, I'm going to start that pause. I'm going to just pause it until we have enough movement. You may not see me come back on for a while because maybe I'm sitting here on my hands for a while. This is scalping. This is real-time scalping. So I'm not here to show you all the best trades and only show you that recording. I want to show you raw footage, good conditions, bad conditions, winners, losers, you name it. The difference between my channel and others that you may see is that I don't care about great trades as far as profit goes. Profit doesn't really matter to me on the educational point because you're not going to learn how to trade by looking at someone else's wins. You're going to learn how to trade the best by looking at the overall process, winners, losers, and in between. What is the in between? It's the patience part, the waiting. You have to actually see that not every opportunity is worth taking. And you also have to know that why they're not worth taking. You don't want to just look at someone's trades and say they took a loss because there was a reversal at this point. No, it goes deeper than that. You have to say, oh, that person took a loss because there was a reversal at that point. And there were these conflicting factors that came into the trade. What are the conflicts? Well, if you follow the specific trader showing you the recording, they will explain to you along the way what are the possible conflicts. And then you're able to see a before and after. You can hear the person or see them talking about that conflict before the event happens. And then the event happens and that conflict stops them out. And they can point back and reference that point in time and that pattern and why that happened. And they can have a factual evidence proving that that conflict was valid. That is a good loss because you're able to be transparent and you're able to tell the world what is really going on. When you are just sitting there and you're just saying, oh, I do not want to take a TC at 1552 because it was a loss. Price was reversing at that point. You can see right here that current time 1612, price is now going down. That is not enough sufficient evidence to share with the public. Obviously, if you want to be mystified about your rules and hide something, you could talk like that, but I would say something deeper. You see on my charts all the time. Wave size coming into 1552 RB is too weak to trade. And it's not really an RB because the market is too low, and therefore it would be considered a TC, and the wave size is under my minimum requirement. Every single day, I have my minimum requirement that I follow. I have to wait for at least 5.5 pips of price movement preceding the end of that current preceding wave before I consider that wave over. So you have to know, when does a wave end? When does a wave begin? These are all little rules and criteria that must be followed. That's why it's important to get a coach. That's why I emphasize get yourself some training, some private coaching, because you really don't know all of the factors that really come into trading. You see, professionals, we make it look easy, but the truth is, it's simple. It looks very simple, but there's so much more that goes into it that you have to train with us in order to at least get the blueprint for you to continue to train by yourself. This stuff is not simple where I can just write an article on it. You have to train. You have to get the insight from the coach and instructor yourself. And if the person is not talking like I am, we all are different, but if they're not talking with enough description as to what really is going on in real time, they may not really know what they're talking about, or they may be just pulling your strings. So just a little advisory warning sign. Be careful out there. This is a very serious game. This is not just it's not the casino. You don't just go here and gamble and guess. This is someone's life's work. And if you're going to devote your entire life to learning to be a professional trader, a consistently profitable trader to make money and extract it from the markets daily, you have to know that it's not as simple as the world makes it look. So I just want to give you all that little heads up, just a little tip. And I'm going to pause the video now because I've done enough talking. In the meantime, you're able to see how calm and patient I am. I still don't trade because there's less than 15 pips of movement. But hopefully in this video, we can see this expand. And even when it does, I may not find a trade. Like yesterday, I took 0 trades during my session. Or I may find some trades and I'll share it with you all before and after the position is open. So let me pause this now and I'll get back to you all shortly. All right, I'm back several minutes later. I just want to show y'all the red box that I have highlighted right here is the measurement tool, and we are just approaching the bare minimum amount of movement that I require before I start actively trading. So I am just approaching that 15 pip standard, and now I can start looking for trades as we have enough volume in the market to start trading. Still under, just a slight bit under the 15 pips. I would like for it to drop a little bit more. And there's a little bit of an update. I noticed that there has been very tiny waves. So the market has not really been trending nor ranging with strong enough waves for me to trade. So that's going to be a little conflict when it comes to for looking for patterns, because most of my patterns requires strong enough wave size before taking. And right now, these are very weak, telling me that both the buyers and sellers are not strong enough to take the market anywhere. So that lowers the probability of my trades. So I'm going to just update y'all every few minutes. If I see something about to pop up, I'll resume the recording. If not, I'm just going to be sitting here on standby. I just wanted to update you all that we are approaching that minimum requirement for the active trading. I used to do music in the backgrounds of my videos and allow people just to watch. And I used to also share my lot sizes on any of my brokers publicly, but I stopped doing that because it's not as professional. That's from my own perspective. I don't think it's as professional to be sharing account balances at this level. I'm sharing straight up information, and this is for educational purposes. So I don't want to mislead the crowd saying I made X amount by risking X amount. You all see the forecast box when I'm getting into a trade. It'll show either a 1 hour risk for a 2 hour reward, or less or maybe more. But I go by R value because in the professional level, we go by R value. We don't really care about the amount that someone is making or losing, as long as on average, you're making twice as much as you're risking. That is a solid risk to reward ratio. So pay attention to what you are focused on. Pay attention to your news feeds on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, whatever social media you're using. Pay very close attention, because one of the major factors of a trader's success is the information that you're taking in as a prospective day trader or swing trader. And if you are taking in information of nonstop materialistic gains, or look at how much money I made, you're taking in the wrong information. And that's going to lead you on the wrong path, more than likely, because you're now looking at the amount someone else is making. And what someone makes has absolutely nothing to do with their trading skill. It has nothing to do. If you're made $100,000, it's no different from if you made $1,000 or even $1. It really does not matter, because the market is still gonna move, and it's gonna move without you. It's gonna move with or without that $100,000 trade or that $1 trade. Did you take a good trade? Did you make a good call? Did you record or document that position before and after? And did you explain to your audience how you managed the trade? That's all that matters. It does the money does not matter as long as you're making a good risk to reward. Money management is just second nature in a professional setting. But for those of you that are following along, you can see I'm a no nonsense, no BS type of guy when it comes to trading. I like to just cut all the bull and get straight to the shit. And that's what I'm doing in this video. No dollar amounts. You will not see that in my future videos. That's just not what I do anymore. And yeah, hopefully you learn a lot more just by watching pure price action and listening to my commentaries. I'm going to pause this now as I do not see anything, and I'll update y'all shortly. All right, I'm back. We have officially passed the minimum requirements of the daily movement. Still a low movement day, but now I can get a little bit more active and start looking for setups. So I want to explain to you what's been happening this entire session from 16 o'clock until now, pretty much the past hour, and follow up with what I'm going to do next or potentially do, because everything is in probabilities and potentials here. We don't know the future, and I'm not here to predict. Price has pretty much been dropping. As you can see, it's pretty obvious. Lower highs, lower lows, all the way until current price. So we've been falling, and we are currently at or around daily lows. So what I noticed that's different about the fall is that the sellers have been getting weaker between 1615 and 1645. You can see that on the chart in front of you. Sellers been getting weaker, and buyers have not really stepped in just yet. But I do have a horizontal line drawn above 1.0766, because that's not an entry point at all, but it's just an indicator, my own indication, telling me that buyers are in fact stepping back into the markets, and we may have a reversal underway. It doesn't guarantee a reversal. It doesn't really say too much. All it's telling me is that sellers, not only have we been seeing smaller wave sizes on the way down, but buyers are stepping in, potentially reversing the market. So remember, I trade in probabilities. So there's a lower probability of sellers continuing to push price down if the buyers continue to shift the market in the north side favor. It's a higher probability of me finding a potential buy order if there is a significant increase in buyers and the magnitude and velocity of the up waves start to increase. It is no coincidence. This is how I trade every single day. I don't predict the future. I could be wrong, and I could also be right. But in this video, if I do have any of those occurrences, I'm going to update you all. It's still very low movement, very slow, and I have not seen anything. So I'm going to pause it again and update y'all when I'm about to get into a trade. All right, I'm back. And we have a liftoff. No guarantees that we're going to continue up. And even if we do, no guarantees that I will find a trigger. But this is nice. This is a nice start. So, like I said, I do not predict. I'm not a fortune teller. I don't predict the future of price. I just react based off of what I see. As I can see right now, buyers have officially stepped in. But unfortunately, price is still showing small wave sizes. That's why I have the measurement tool right there. I'm unable to trade until there is a strong enough wave up. So if this wave ends right now, I have to wait for a reset, in which it just ended. No buying yet. Just giving y'all that heads up. I have to wait for further buying, or we may be stalling out still. So this is not a buy for me. I'm going to skip out on this and I'm going to show y'all why. Remember, I don't predict the future, but I'm not chasing price and I have very strict guidelines. Remember in the beginning of the video, I said I have rules, parameters. Okay. Doing this live in front of you all. You probably thought I was going to take a trade in this video, like a lot of people want to show winners, right? I'm not interested in just taking lucky trades and sharing it with the world. I'm going to show you all the process. I skip trades too. Not trading is just as important as trading because my stop loss will be below the last 2 minutes. Let's look. As of right now, my stop loss will be below 1.07666 if I were in this trade. And I would need to go for a 2-to-1 target. So look at it. Why? I have rules. Remember, I tell you step by step the entire video. I did explain this may go over half hour because I'm not rushing to just show you a quick trade and try to swindle everyone to join a program or anything. I just want to show y'all just transparency and how I trade every day. So I'm commentating price action. This one trade would have been a loser. You see that price would have hit the stop loss and it would have immediately reversed into that stop before even going 1R in the favor. And I look for 2R targets. Boom, bang. I prevented a 1R loss. That would be a trading mistake because I would not follow my rules. Now, when you see that I post a screenshot later, this video can kind of go along with it hand in hand. And you're like, oh, wait, he really did call that out. He really did not take that trade. He's not BSing. He's telling the truth. Transparency, y'all. That's what I'm about. Let's mark this up now. Boom. That would have been a loss if I chased that trade. Would have been a 100% loss. 1 hour loss. Not 100% of my account, but that would definitely be a loss. We could have a potential RT, which is a top formation, but I need to measure the distance between here and the daily lows. And unfortunately, I'm not interested in a sell into the daily lows because price is too close to the daily lows. And I don't want to predict new lows of the day. That's just not what I'm about. I'm not about prediction. I'm about reaction. And right now, maybe if the price can pull back a little bit and then trigger on down south, looking at maybe like a pullback up here somewhere. So a deeper pullback is required in order for me to take this short. And I do not want to see it break down and come back up and then trigger. I needed to see it pull back from here and then trigger from a deeper, more northbound. So kind of like up here somewhere and then short down to the low. So that's my criteria. If it's not met, I will not trade. But if so, I will trade. 32 minutes in, and I'm finally looking for potential setup. That's what I mean by patience. So we are pulling back. We may get a potential setup. As you can see, I'm always using my measurement tool. I cannot take the short if it drops below this past couple minutes. I need it to pull back more and then drop from higher above. I just can't take this sell if it drops. So once again, I don't predict price, but if it's reacting a certain way, it is what it is. We're going to wait. We're going to see. And I'm going to let y'all know if I take the trade or if it's voided. It will be voided if it goes below the past 2-minute lows, 3-minute lows. Yeah, I'll just void the trade, the setup, and just look for a different opportunity. So I don't think I'm going to pause this until I'm getting ready to go to my broker and enter the trades there. But I will get prepared. Just giving y'all that little update. I'm preparing to pause it, but not yet. Because once again, it's too soon. Price is too low for me to short. It hasn't gone anywhere for this pullback. And I need a decent pullback before shorting it. Drops below any of these candles, it's breached. No trade for me. I'm not moving price. I'm not the one pulling the strings, y'all. I'm just here being as transparent as possible. If it goes, it goes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Yesterday, I got 0 trades. Yesterday, US session. Yesterday, London session, I got 1 winner and 1 loser. Right now, I'm just waiting up. I don't know, y'all. I can't take this. Can't. It's voided. .9 pips to daily lows. I can't take it. I put my notes down saying no RT south. Maybe we get something else. Maybe not. I have 22 minutes left in my session. So see that red bar right here or that red line? That's the end of my session. I can't take this short. Just like that long, I gotta let this pass, y'all, unfortunately. And yeah, unfortunately, it would have been a good move, a good down move, but it's still not meeting my criteria. I would be about 1.5 R in the money, trailing stop loss above the last minute highs. And yeah, it could hit that target. Yeah, it would have been a target, but gotta follow my rules, y'all. Trigger was too close, and that was it. But now we have a strong new wave down. So this is giving information. So you don't got to chase every opportunity. Maybe there's a better one around the corner. Follow your rules, because following my rule, I avoided one loss. And yeah, following my rule, I missed out on a trade, but that trade was not a part of my criteria. So rules are rules. It's extremely important to follow your rules. Now we have a strong wave down. So yeah, I mean, if we have continuation of this bear market, I'm gonna look for a sell. Update y'all in just a moment. So once again, there's another trade. According to my guidelines, do not take the sell if it goes below the last minute lows. I have various reasons why, primarily because we're on the cusp of former daily lows, and that is not valid. So if it goes above the last minute highs, that's my stop loss. I have very tight stops. Keeps on going, then I read the narrative and continue to follow along with price, but no trade. I'm going to update y'all in just a moment when I type the notes. Going back to the new note that I just put, no TC sell, because that is the pattern that I would be trading. Trigger on the cusp of daily lows, pullback is too deep. So out of following my rules so far, I have one trade, one loss that I avoided, which is minus 1R, and one win that I potentially missed out on, potential winner. So that is a plus 2R trade. So far, I am 1R is what I would have gained by not following my rules if I took both of those trades, which were against my guidelines. Now, this next one, I just updated you, said no TC South. It's not looking like a good trade. 2 minutes later, we can see prices actually going against that trigger that I just got me into the trade. And the stop loss would have been hit within 2 minutes almost instantly. So that's why I have my rules. I would be break even minus commission. So I would actually be sitting here with less money if I don't follow my rules. So, like I said, you can get lucky sometimes because that's how the market, we all get lucky. It's just, are you taking the higher probability trades or not? Because that was not a good trade, and the trade would have been stopped out right here. Entry. And what is it doing? Price is moving above 25 right now. See the high low at the top of the screen. Close, open, high, low, close. Okay. And price just made highs and tapped out that stop loss. That would have been a stop loss. So that would have been a 1R loss right there. And I would be sitting at break even minus commission. So what looked like it was going to potentially be a good trade, if I follow all the triggers of the system, I would not be listening to my rules that I made through my back testing. Basically, I'm disrespecting myself by not following my guidelines. I make guidelines in the off hours so it can prevent this type of situations from happening. You don't want an emotional roller coaster while trading. You don't want to take a trade just to get lucky, not knowing how your longer term P&L is going to look. Now, if I continue to trade and break my rules, I'll highlight it and show you what the rules are and what the outcome would have been. So right now there's absolutely no trading for me. I'm sitting on my hands still. I am at flat 0R break even for the day. And I only have a few minutes left. I have about 12 minutes left of my session. So I'm not sure if we will find anything, but I have shown you how great my control is and how much importance there is when it comes to defense. You're not always about offense and being trigger happy. Defense is just as important as offense, if not more important, because preservation of capital matters. Let's imagine if you risked 50% of your account per trade, okay? Right here, you would have lost 50%. Right here, you would have gained 100% of that 50%, which means you're currently up by less than what you started with. Am I wrong? Let's do that again. Right here, you lost 50% of your account if you're risking 50% per trade. You took this trade, now you're up 100% of that minus 50, that account that's now sitting at half. Let's take this as dollars. You lost you start with $10, okay? You lost $5, now you only have $5. You double up, and now you're risking $2.50 of that $5 because now, or you can risk your whole account. Let's say you risk your whole account. You risk the $5 you have remaining to make 2 times that. Now you're up $15 on your account. Okay? Risk $5 of the 10. You lost $5. Now you only have $5. You can risk 100% or you can risk 50%, but your buying power is lower. So now you risk $2.50 because that's all you have when it comes down to 50%. You can't go back in time. You lost that 50%. So you risk $2.50 and now you made $5, which is 2 times what you just risked. Okay? So now you're back up to $10 on your P&L, but minus commission. You didn't add in commission, okay? And that's the reality of it too. Now commission, broker comes in, give me some of your money. Now you're sitting at a net negative on your account after those 2 trades, okay? You're not sitting at $10 of what you started with. You're sitting at the profits minus the commission. Now you took this trade, you risked 50%. Now you were down even lower than what you lost up here, because not only did you lose 50% of whatever, let's say you have $9 remaining, you lost $4.50. Now you're sitting at $4.50 minus commissions. So you may be sitting at like $4.20 after that third trade. So what may look good in hindsight, because that's what everybody's doing, it's not really good, because after 3 trades, because you're following these triggers and getting lucky, the longer you trade without following your rules, the worse off you'll become. Meanwhile, I am preserving my capital. I did not take this trade. I did not take this trade. I did not take this trade because they were all bad quality trades. And therefore, I'm still sitting at 100% of my capital, or $10, while you have depleted over half of your capital. That is how the real market trading goes. And so what will happen if this is poor context? And I can come back later on a US session when we do have CPI announcements and there may be better quality moves. And I could actually take those trades risking whatever I want to risk. Let's say if I continue to risk 50%, we all risk 50%. Let's just hypothetically speak on that. I can go ahead and I could risk 50%, and I could risk that $5 on a good trade, and I can keep on winning because I'm going and following my rules. Meanwhile, you're going to continue to trade in the US session, either get lucky, or what has history already shown us, you're going to continue to deplete your account until you have nothing else to trade with. That is the real nature of the markets and trading. You do your own self-sabotaging. You create your own failures in this. The market's not out to get you. It's all our own decisions. It's all our own choices at the end of the day. We have to have great control and commentate price along the way so you can kind of understand. Right now, I'm more than likely going to end my session because I do not see anything of value. I sat through here and I took 0 trades today because I did not see anything of quality. I did not lose out or miss out on 2R because that did not follow my rules. it just happened to work out like that. And sometimes the market does that. I could go into my post trade session notes after, and I could update that and say maybe I should look at RTs, their lows and highs, and maybe I want to create some better offenses around that. But at least I'll have my capital for tomorrow and for the next session. So that's pretty much it. I mean, I have about 6 minutes remaining, and I don't think it's going to take a whole 6 minutes for price to do something that it hasn't done all day. And so it's been a flat session. We could see that as per earlier. Okay. Before the session began, we had waves that looked promising, but dried up, and we have nothing. It's moving sideways and it's flat and it's grindy again. So I'm going to call it a day. If I do see any updates after posting my notes, then I will press the resume button. But I'm going to give it a few minutes and maybe we find something while I'm typing up my post trade notes, post session notes. And if not, this is going to be uploaded to the YouTube, same as yesterday's video. You can see how great control prevents you from losing out. Winners can happen, but it's always about your longer term, not short term gains. I'll be back with updates. If not, y'all have a wonderful day.